No one thinks of social media as a business. Recently, my uncle came to visit. And so he was telling us about his life and some of his plans for the future. Something that he's thinking about doing is leaving his job. He has a sales job and leaving it and doing some kind of business. And so he was discussing all the different options. He was like, okay, maybe I could do a plumbing thing, like some kind of handyman stuff with my son, or maybe I could do some kind of healthcare related thing, maybe real estate, maybe gold, like throwing out all of these options. And something that he wants is a lot of that location freedom, being able to move to a different location. Because right now he feels like he's lost, trapped in his in person sales job. And so in my head, I'm just thinking social media, social media. That is the answer. And like the business plan was so clear in my mind. I was like, okay, you could be a seller. Like basically you teach people how to be good at sales. Boom, right? Like you do car sales, so you teach other people how to do car sales. Done. Easy. I'm sure there's a market for that because people want to learn that specific skill set. But I didn't say it. I didn't say it the first night. And then the second night, we're having a similar conversation. And so I just brought up that, have you thought about social media? And so he just goes, no. And the way that it was said, it's instantly, I felt okay, like this conversation is ended and there's no more further discussion to be had. You can tell when someone's open to hearing about an idea versus when something gets shut down. And so there immediately, like the gut response I was getting was like, okay, there's nothing more for me to say because it was so clear and so obvious in my head. And it just blows my mind because a lot of people are like this. We think of all these random businesses when we think of new business ideas, yet the one that we're most exposed to more than anything is what's on our phones, which is social media. Everyone is scrolling content nowadays. Where do the people think that content comes from? Have you ever thought about like the content you're consuming? Someone sat there and spent time making that content. And there must be some return for that person making the content. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep making it, whether it's like likes, followers, or whatever, or if they've been able to translate that into finances. For example, for myself, now I've been posting content for years, and over this last year, I was able to translate that into a full time income more than I do as a psychiatrist. And so I'm able to live a full time life of just being a content creator. I only practice psychiatry 1 day a week with my select patients in my concierge private practice. And that's not something I'm looking to grow either because the content side has taken off so well for me. And I think that the content, it does not get the respect that it deserves, which is crazy to me because the money is real. It's a business. I have a business plan, like I execute on different things. We have a team, we have daily actions that we do in the team. But it almost just seems so simple, and it really is such a simple business. That's why the social media content business is so brilliant because this is the business model. It's basically you post content, you have it, you grow an audience, and then you sell the audience something. That's it. That's literally the business model. And then you just keep posting content to water the machine, but that's it. And so people might think that, oh, yeah, but you have to keep doing content and you have to do this. That's like with anything, with any job, you have to keep on showing up. With the gym, it's not like you just lose weight and then you're done. No, it's a lifestyle. So same thing, content creation is a lifestyle, but it's the easiest and the best lifestyle that I've ever come across in any kind of business. Like in my knowledge of business, which obviously is not ginormous, but I've learned some things. The business that has the highest profit margins with the lowest barrier to entry and the lowest costs is a content business. I can't think of anything else. My cousin they just moved from Canada to America and they bought a restaurant here. And so dude's running a restaurant. And like it's a successful restaurant. It's been functioning well for the last 20, 30 years. And so they bought that out and now they're running it. But when I think about a restaurant business, you have to manage all these employees, the food inventory, customers coming in, cooking all the food, the waste that goes into it, making sure food stays fresh, all the customer complaints, health inspections, having to wake up early to prepare, have people cancel, employees leave. And there's so much, and for like very low profit margins, like that's how a restaurant business runs. And I was just thinking, damn, that's like, I could never do that business because it's a hard business to be in. But the social media stuff is such an easy business model, and just people don't, I don't, it just does not have the respect it deserves as a business. And that's why I have this channel, because I think that if any doctor or healthcare person wants to get on social media, like, we are early. This is so early. People say, "Oh, this thing's saturated." Guess what? Medicine is saturated. Like, it's harder and harder to get into med school every year because there's more and more applicants. It's harder to get into residency every year because there's more and more applicants, and not as many this residency spots aren't increasing as much as the applicants are. Yet people still go into medicine. They're not worried about the saturation of that. The only thing I think is saturated in social media might be like fitness content, maybe beauty, lifestyle, sure, that stuff. But the medical doctor niche is so wholly untouched. Such a few number of us are actually online on social media that this is the gold rush of our modern age, especially in the medicine field. Like, I firmly believe that social media is the gold rush of the modern age, and especially and it depends on which field you're in, and especially for in the medical field, in the doctor niche, there's almost negligible competition. The demand for our information and our services is so high, but the supply is so low. And this is why people are turning to these alternative sources. How you've probably had a patient who's gotten a TikTok diagnosis or researched something on social media. And it's because that's where people are turning to. They're turning to TikTok for their health information. I get all my patients from social media. So TikTok and Instagram, YouTube. That's because they are turning to these platforms for their info. They're not turning to doctors. They're not trying to ask the medical providers. Medical doctor respect has gone down to an all-time low, and people don't trust doctors' opinions anymore, especially post-COVID, vaccine era, etc. Yeah, the point is that patients are getting this info anyway, right? You might as well be the one who's providing the accurate info rather than letting some Joe Schmo influencer who has some condition is now speaking like all their condition applies to everyone who has that condition, which we know is not true. But yeah, the whole point of this video was that I think that don't count out social media as an option when you're exploring business opportunities. I think when doctors start to explore for financial freedom, like I've seen a lot of these programs and things that are out there, they always do either real estate or compound interest, invest in the S&P 500, and then when you're 65 years old, it'll come out and you can retire. And it's, dude, I don't want that life. I'm not trying to grind from my 30s to 60s so that way by the time I'm old and my bones are decrepit and there's aches and pains everywhere and I can't tolerate cold weather and it's hard for me to climb up hills, that I want to have freedom. No, I want that freedom now. I want to have my time freedom now. I want my location freedom now. I want my financial freedom now in my 30s, not in my 60s. My parents are just approaching 60 right now. And we last year we went to Iceland. And so we went to Iceland, and so we're climbing up some like little mountainous hill thing. And so eventually it got too steep and my parents were not able to continue. And so it was just me, my sister, her boyfriend, right? Like, we're the ones who went up the hill. And so I had the thought that this retirement thing, who they pitch us this narrative that, oh, yeah, work hard now and then you put your portfolio into real estate or stocks or whatever, then you can transition out of medicine. That happens when you're 50 or 60. I don't want to be old then when I can't climb up a hill in Iceland. I want to have the freedom now to where I can travel and explore all that I want to. And the only vehicle that I found for doctors to be able to do that successfully has been social media. I'm a 32-year-old attending. Today I'm recording this at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. I woke up at 9, had breakfast. I went to the gym for 4 hours today, came back, ate lunch with my mom, like just the most casual, leisurely day. And now I am recording these videos. After this, I'm going to go work on a documentation module for my Ps in my community. Later tonight, I might play video games, but I'll sleep whenever. Tomorrow's my in-person or my patient care day, but it starts at 1 p.m. I'll wake up casually tomorrow morning, do whatever, and then start seeing my patients at 1. This is my business. This is literally my life. Like, my business and my life are all one. And it's unbelievable to think that basically my work task for the day, like the thing that I have to be productive with, is making videos. That's the most important thing I can do right now is be recording here. And you can see I'm just yapping. So every time I get on here, I have this soapbox here, and it's doctor just got to know this stuff. The system benefits from us not knowing our worth and us not knowing the value of our knowledge, right? So I'm here to present an alternative path that might be of consideration to you. Definitely think about that, and I'll see you in the next video.